Chaim Sender ben Uri Ufega. Hi, Weiss. It's hard to say goodbye. That's what we're here to do on the cusp of such a joyous holiday. He was saying for the past few weeks, maybe it's time for me to join Leo, his beloved brother. But he held on. Sandy, or maybe Vicky, suggested that maybe he held on as long as he did is because he wanted to spare the family the difficulty or the challenge of a long shiva. But the shiva is only a choreography. The Gemara says, Aninos is belev, that the mourning is not the external, but the essence of mourning is the broken heart. And that doesn't go away with Yontif. And yet, Hai always was able to look at the big picture and not just focus on his immediate feelings and his immediate concerns. And the big picture is who we are. We are the Jewish people, permeated with values, because we're no longer slaves and we're free. And we've been liberated. And he represented that. He represented that. So it's bittersweet. There's a psalm written by King David just for him. It's Psalm 15. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai. Mi yagum ba'ahalecha, mi yishkon b'har kodshecha. Hashem, who may sojourn in your tent, who may dwell in your holy mountain? Holech tamim ufoel tzedek, v'dover emes bilvavo. One who walks in purity, straight shooter, does what is righteous, no matter what the cost, and speaks truth from his heart, doesn't mince words. Lo ragala l'shono v'lo asa l're'ehu ra'ah. No slander on his tongue, nor has he ever hurt anybody. V'cherpa lo nasa al krovo. Nor cast disgrace towards a neighbor. He doesn't hold a grudge. That was repeated often, characterizing him. It's over. Let's just go on from here. Nivzeh be'einehu nim'as. He's discreet. He knows the difference between good guys and bad guys. Not naive, not Pollyanna. Ves yirei Adonai yechabed. He gives honor to those who represent the fear of God, and to people like me who he thinks should be representatives of the fear of God. Nishba laharav alo yamir. If he swears even against his own, if he makes a commitment that even causes himself to suffer, he'll follow through. Kaspo lo nasan beneshech. He doesn't lend. He's not a loan shark. When he gives, he gives. And what he receives in return, that's up to the other person. Shochad al naki lo lakach. Doesn't take any bribes in any realm whatsoever. Osei ele lo yimot liolam. One who lives according to these values will never stumble, will never be moved, no matter what difficulties happen to him. As I said, it was written for him. Kamu vaneha vayashruha. It says, let her or his children and grandchildren, nieces, nephews, let them stand up and give him nachas. So we'll have his grandson, Jacob, say a few words on behalf of the family, himself, and his sister, Rebecca.
a millennial, so I wrote it on my phone. First off, I just want to say thank you for all coming. Your support and loving kindness is all we need in this time. To speak a little about my grandpa, I try to recall the years before his decline. One of the things that was very important to him was tradition. It was highly revered in my family. It was emphasized in weekly Sunday night dinners. As a kid, I was always excited for him to walk through the door with his ball cap on and his infectious smile, followed by a hug and a kiss and some complaining about Cleveland sports during dinner. His subtle advice that I blew off as a kid I reflect on now and realize how much knowledge he had up there. One piece of advice that sticks out to me was actually in the last few months. I had the pleasure of coming home from college and joining him for dinner one night. He was sharp and witty as ever. After dinner was over, dessert was served. As I'm sure you all know my grandpa, he had a hell of a sweet tooth. He looked down and he said, "Grapes are not dessert." I think nothing exemplifies more who my grandpa was as a person than the two incredible women who he raised, my mother and my aunt, both who embody his huge heart, his everlasting love, and his drive and determination. He raised those two women single-handedly, might I add, to share in his morals and ideals. The same ideals that were passed down to my sister and I, and the same ones that I embody today. Being my grandpa's only grandson is a pleasure and a blessing. My sister and I couldn't have asked for anything more than to have him be with us through the major steps of our lives. I do want to remind everyone that we are here not to mourn a loss, but to celebrate his long, incredible life. Also, more importantly, to remember, grapes are not dessert. Thank you.
Very beautiful. Nephew, Leo's son, Bill.
I'm just going to share some memories that I have of my Uncle High. We grew up as a very close family. The boys were raised by loving parents, and it was such a solid unit. And my uncle and my father were like this. They were so close. They worked together every day. On the weekends, they would call each other, stay high. There was never a day that my mother and my father never talked to my uncle, to my Aunt Rhoda, bless her soul. They were raised to be so devoted. They doted on their parents, their children, their grandchildren. When I look over here at Uncle High, you'd see him and it was like, "Hiya, Bill. How are you? How's Robin? You know, I've loved her from the minute I met her." They worked very hard in that store. They had a kosher butcher shop, and they worked very hard. When we were young, my brother and I would work there, and we could see how hard they worked. It was a very, very hard business. And I still remember going to the slaughterhouse, and I liked to drive with Uncle High because he'd keep me pretty amused on those drives. I remember, this might be a little off color, but he had a temper, especially when someone was trying to take advantage of him. And I remember one time when I was young, we were at the slaughterhouse, and he told the guy who was there, "You're trying to sell me cow balls." And I've never forgotten that. When somebody tries to do something that's not kosher, they're trying to sell me cow balls. Being on the eve of Passover brought even more memories. Working in the store was an extra hard chore around Passover because they sold the matzahs, they sold fish, they sold chicken, and there were huge boxes of orders that had to be delivered. And the two of them they'd come home late at night and they were just dead tired. But at the Passover Seders, I always wanted to sit next to Uncle High. My father always wanted me to follow every word of the Haggadah. And if I could sit next to Uncle Hai, we could talk a little bit and enjoy it a little bit more. And the same thing in shul. I'd always try to move away on the holidays from my dad over to Uncle Hai because we could schmooze a little bit and it was a little more fun. I used to call my parents every day, and especially after my mom died, I'd call my uncle too. And I always continued because Sandy and Vicki told me how much it meant to him just to hear my voice. And that's the kind of guy he was. He was loving, he was smiling, he was giving, and he did enjoy life despite, he had some hard cards dealt to him. And he hurt, and you could tell it hurt. But he still was loving, he still was warm, he never became bitter. And he raised wonderful girls. He loves all his grandchildren, his nieces, his nephews. My grandchildren were his grandchildren. He loved family, and he always said, that's all we have is family. Love the family. And it's going to be tough, but I have a lot of great memories. I remember swimming at the kids' house, and they had a pool for the summers. We'd go over there, we'd have pools, our dinners together, our lunches together after shul. It was just a very tight family, and we were lucky to have each other. And I hope you all got a chance to meet him and to know him.
Bill's brother Ken was not able to be here, but he asked me to read now this reminiscence that he composed late last night. This is from Dr. Herman Weiss. As a child of 5 or 6, the name Hai was a mystery. Uncle Hai. My father was Leo, and everyone knew that Leo was a lion. But what did Hai mean? Eventually I asked, and I was told that it was a nickname for Herman. Uncle Hai was not a Herman. Herman is German, sinister, very aloof, and formal. My Uncle Hai was a chevraman, one of the guys, easygoing, personable, a man who enjoyed life and knew how to relax. Uncle Hai was my second father, my type B personality father. Basically what you alluded to. Although they married before my parents, they remained childless until I was 6 years old, and Bill was then 4. Uncle Hai and Tante Rhoda lived in the second story of my grandparents' two-family house. When I slept over at their house, I would inevitably find my way upstairs to say hi, and I was treated as the child for which they longed. As a 5-year-old, I remember an outing to Mental Headlands. What an experience, walking on a beach, going to the lake, the crowds of people, the circus, ice capades, movies. After the girls were born, as an 11-year-old, I would sleep over their house and babysit Sandy and Vicki. Family was central to his sense of identity, and at every occasion there was always a smile, a hug, some one-on-one schmoozing. He took the time to show us that we mattered. I can say the same thing for myself as a friend, not just as a rabbi. And the Sinai people and Cedar Sinai people, I'm sure, feel the same way. And we were loved and valued as individuals regardless of age. When his contemporaries left this world before he did, he was Arichus Yamim, 95 years old. So he just made friends with the younger generations. In shul as a child, I discovered his real name, which, when said with the right inflection, sounded, at least to me, so tough, so hip. Chaim Sender. May your name be for a blessing, and serve as an example to all of us on how to deal with adversity and remain a mensch. His beloved granddaughter, Edie, summarized everything that we've heard with a statement from Pirkei Avot. He personified the aphorism, Ezehu Ashir Hasameach Bechalko. Who is truly wealthy? The person who rejoices with the portion that he was given. That doesn't mean you rejoice at the curveballs and the beanballs, but means you find the good, and you find opportunities to develop that which is good and that which is wonderful, and salvage fleur du mal, flowers out of evil. And very poignant when his beloved wife Rhoda passed away, a close family intimate. It almost advised him and almost insisted, these girls are too young, you can't bring them up. You should really do the best for them and give them up for adoption. And you know what Hai's response was. Probably a little bit more off color than the other story. He said, never, no way. He was mom, he was dad. He was in his 40s when his beloved Rhoda passed away. And he refused to consider dating until these girls were mature, were the young ladies, and then ask for their approval before he would consider remarrying. And he found a wonderful woman, Harriet, Aleha Shalom, who had told, I think, Sandy and maybe Vicky, that one of the many characteristics that attracted her to him and made her realize that this is an amazing opportunity is how devoted his children and his family are to him. He was devoted, and he evoked and commanded devotion from his daughters especially, and from the whole family, and from friends. I tried to just just to free associate after I heard him pass away until late last night and even this morning, and the word that kept on sort of screaming at me was enthusiasm. Enthusiasm has a source, theos. It's excitement, but theos is a Greek term for the divine. It was a divine excitement. One of the dictionaries says intense and eager enjoyment, interest, approval, her energy and enthusiasm for life. Synonyms: ardor, fervor, passion, zeal, zest, gusto. We need people. We need mentors. We need zakanim. We need mentors who have this eternal, youthful sparkle in their eyes, eternal enthusiasm. Then my computer gives me Hebrew translations. Hitlahavut. Hitlahavut is enthusiasm, but what's the source of hitlahavut? Fire. The passion of fire. Tonight, we're going to light little candles and search our homes. Near Hashem nishmas adam, the Gemara says. We search our homes for chametz and get rid of that egotism, which chametz stands for. We search and destroy with the neshamas that are within us. But his neshama, his candle, can light our candles and sort of fan the flames that are, for many of us, all too dim, so that we'll search and destroy the metaphorical egotism, cynicism, negativity, and that will be his everlasting gift to everyone who to family, children, grandchildren, and to everyone who ever knew him. Yehi Zichro Baruch. Not supposed to really do heavy, cryful eulogies, because it's Erev Pesach, it's Chodesh Nisan. That's what he would want. He wants us to zoom in and focus on his hit lahavut. And hit lahavut is not just Pollyanna ignoring the negativity, looking at the negativity and burning it out. Be your chametz. And this family's going to have to make a seder tomorrow night, and he'll be sitting with you. And you won't always have to be looking at every word in the Haggadah, and that's okay. In lieu of the Kel Mole, Michtam LeDavid Shamreni El Ki Chasisi Bach Armat LaDonai Adonai Ata Tovasiba Lalecha Liktoshima Sheba Oretz Hema Va'adirei Kol Cheptzi Bam Yirbu Atzvosam Acher Maharu Balasich Nisrehem Midam Ubalasoas Shemosam Al Sfosai Adonai Menas Chelki Vakosi Ata Tamich Gorali. Hashem is my allotted portion and my share. See the infinity in the person. You sustain my fate. Portions have fallen to me in pleasant places. Lovely indeed is my estate. Lovely indeed is my estate. Ata Tamich Gorali. Chavalim nafaluli ban'imim afnechala shafra alai. Avarechas Adonai asher ya'atzani. Religious personality, I will bless God who has always given me the right counsel. Af leilot yisruni kilyosai shivisi Adonai lenegdi samid. I survived the tragedies, I survived the difficulties because I've always placed God in front of me. Ti mimini bal emo. Ti's at my right side, willy-nilly, but it's up to me to place him here and focus on the ultimate in my daily life, in my relationship with people. L'chein samach libi v'yagel kavodi af b'sari yishkon levetach. I will dwell in security. Ki lo tazav nafshi lish'ol. You will not abandon my soul to the grave. Lo titein chastacha liros shachas. Todieni orachayim svas machosas panecha neimot bimincha netzach. You have made known to me the path of life. In your presence is the fullness of joy. There is delight at your right hand for eternity. Enthusiasm. Yehi Zichro Baruch. May we meet happy occasions and have wonderful memories of a wonderful man, father, brother, uncle, grandfather, great-grandfather, and friend. Yehi Zichro Baruch.